Here we are. Let's see, we need to collect several things to create the Lazarus factory. I think we already have enough chlorophyll solution. We need honeybee enzymes. We need distilled water. We already have the Rosa Gallica.
Julie, my dear, I am trying to run a business here. You want to spend time with my honeybees? Well, I'm gonna have to start charging you for the pleasure. If I come out one more time and find you lolling out there amongst my hives, I'm grabbing my shotgun. As to your question, yes, my days in beekeeping school are a blur. But I do seem to remember something about that enzyme you keep blabbing on about.
First on the list, bee spit. Better than bee shit? Well. I do love how this game looks. I love the views, the underwater, Art Deco city. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's some killing music. Better put it to good use. I've become pretty well trained to take pictures first, ask questions later at this point. And there is a grenade launcher turret right over here, which I need to deal with. And I thought I saw somebody, but I think it was just the camera, the shadow. And I'm remembering to snap pictures of turrets again as well. I hear somebody. Ow. Pow! Right in the kisser. And there goes a corpse. And somebody's about over there. But I see him not. Whoever he was, he's gone now. And there's also a camera that I'm looking for, but I'm not totally sure where it is. That makes the flow speed reduction makes hacking cameras pretty much the easiest hacking in the game, barring just guaranteed hacking success. Because that stacks with the flow speed reduction tonic as well. Another example, I've talked about this in previous episodes, but rather than taking pictures now, I should have it shocked, and then I can take pictures without getting shot at. That was a damage increase that was too quick for you to see. Second tier damage increase. I'm just showing this because it was rated as difficult. Wasn't really, but maybe some of you guys out there find it interesting. I honestly don't know because I haven't really been told one way or the other. I think that most of you guys prefer me to just skip it the vast majority of the time, the hacking process.
The children, with their very long needles, their tuneless songs, their ghastly errands, their ghoulish Frankenstein fathers. But we've all placed our hand on the great chain of endeavor. My hand is on it. Fontaine's is on it. We all pull it and are pulled by it. Yes, these children are an abomination. But it is not my hand alone on the chain that created them. No. Their little fingers were right there, next to mine.
Andrew Ryan, a true sociopath. Justification for amoral behavior. Evelyn 2 is decent, but it's not worth replacing what I have. And Eve Saver is better overall, in my opinion.
We thought we could hide from the light down here. The Little Sisters Orphanage.
I'm
In troubled
sneaky.
times, give your little girl the life that she deserves. Boarding and education free of charge. After all, children are the future of Rapture.
Did you just listen to that ad? It's about Fontaine's homes for little sisters or something. It's how they lured them in to turn them into creatures.
On my walk today, I had my first encounter with Harrigan. He, a lumbering palooka in a foul-smelling diving suit, and she, an unwashed moppet in a filthy pink smock. Her pallor was off, green and morbid. And there was a rather unpleasant aspect to her demeanor, as if she were in an altogether different place than the rest of us. I understand the need for such creatures. I just wish they could make them more presentable.
One of the children came and sat in my lap. I push her off. I shout, "Get away from me!" I can see the Adam oozing out of the corner of her mouth, is thick and green. Her filthy hair hanging in her face, dirty clothes, and that dead glow in her eye. I feel hatred, like I never felt before, in my chest, bitter, burning fury. I can barely breathe. And suddenly I know, it is not this child I hate.
Tannenbaum to me sounds Russian, just Eastern European, but she's actually a German Jew. Hence the, if you watch previous episodes, she mentions being in the camps. The concentration camp. Wait for it.
Jesus loves me, this I
Wait
know.
for it. Oh, he made sad sounds. That actually makes me feel really bad. Oh. Killing is not something to take lightly. It's really, really horrifying as it happens. Who knew? I just used an auto hack there. I did not edit out that hack. I just used an auto hack. It was max difficulty. I didn't feel like wasting time with it, and I never use my auto hacks. I've used them, I think, just once this whole game, and that was in the encounter with old Peachy, with Peach Wilkins. Speaking of how horrifying killing is, I was really sad a lot of times in Dishonored. Some of those facial expressions are really horrifying, which is probably a good thing because, again, you shouldn't have such a disconnect between what you're doing and the fact that it's a game. There's just one Big Daddy in the farmer's market, which I will be dealing with right here, and this is probably the quickest, easiest kill yet, and you'll see in just a second. I'm going to use the... I was considering the camera, but I'm going to use the Big Daddy bomb strategy again, which I showcased in Neptune's Bounty. I'm placing proximity mines, which she actually very nearly triggered. I was a little lucky there. I'm placing them on these explosive oxygen tanks, and I should have just shot it, to be honest, rather than picking it up and throwing it. But I wasn't sure if it would instantly detonate it. I was afraid that it might just create a slow leak and have it detonate later. But regardless, I tossed it, killed him instantly. That's an example of using the strategy to just one-shot a Big Daddy. And if I had just used that one tank with the mines, it wouldn't have done it, but there were a couple extra tanks which finished him off. And he really got caught in the blast.
Thank you.
It was just,
Thank you.
a good amount of exposure. That was with an unupgraded grenade launcher. Eventually it will do even more damage. It's a really good strategy if you have the mines to spare. Really effective. And it's quick, which is nice. The alarms take a while, which can be kind of annoying. We're about to deal with the bees.
In 10 years in this dump, I've come to accept a very low standard of life. But even at the bottom of this fish tank, a man must have standards. The pathetic trou de cul down at Morley Winery has started putting water to his terrible wine. Water! When I confronted him with this fatty, he tells me, Pierre, this is not to worry. The water, she is distilled. It could be worse. I could take it right from the ocean.
True de jus, or however the hell you say it, means asshole in French, by the way, if you were wondering.
Fontaine is dead. Rapture lives.
Surprise! I do love doing that. I don't know why. Of course, now I have to wait. There we go. The oil never burns up, by the way. You can light it on fire over and over again. It's an environmental hazard. And that was a waste, but it was just reflexes. And now I am being raped by bees. Leave me alone, bees, or I will whack you with my wrench. With my whacking stick. Away with you! This is, or at least can be, and again, brilliant. I'm even doing my normal response to pain. Running in circles. You can get rid of the bees prematurely, I believe, with the sonic boom plasmid. There might be another way to get rid of them, possibly incinerate. I don't really remember. I know sonic boom works, though. It disperses them. I will try out insect swarm eventually. I meant to try it out here, but I used all my Adam on other stuff, and I didn't feel like reloading. I don't really recall how useful it was. I know it's useful for tracking Houdini splicers. And frankly, I would have rather tried it out than using Scrounger, which I never remember to activate anyway. And that is what I'm going to put in the slot. I'll take it out eventually. Scrounger lets you search a container more than once with a hotkey. I think mine is bound to Y, but I never remember to bother. And it's really far from necessary anyway. It's a perk, but I mean that's what it's supposed to be. And finally, we're going to start using Safecracker. And no more for Insect Swarm. Oh well, I will try it out at the next opportunity when I have some more Adam to play around with. Now things are going to get interesting, though I think I might first... Don't click on it! Stop being stupid! I don't know if I listen to this audio diary first, or if I go in.
Adam acts like a benign cancer, destroying native cells and replacing them with unstable stem versions. While this very instability is what gives it its amazing properties, it is also what causes the cosmetic and mental damage. You need more and more Adam just to keep back the tide. From a medical standpoint, this is catastrophic. From a business standpoint, well, Fontaine sees the possibilities.
Oh yeah, that's called addiction. We have to miss the bees, so that way when we click on the hives, they don't attack you. And bees don't come out of the hives, and I guess that one wasn't fully misted yet. Like, the swarms don't come out of the hives like they did before. You just take damage. And you also constantly face splicers. Really, I think the best way to do this is to figure out where all the enzymes are, and then to reload once you've done that, because you can waste a lot of resources repeatedly going in here. You only have a set amount of time to deal with, or rather to recover the enzymes per run. Gotcha, bitch! 2-for-1 special. You hit the switch, you have X amount of time to go in, collect your enzymes, and then get out. And if you go in there with the smoke not on the bees, with the smoke not activated, you'll just take constant damage from the swarm, and also you'll take damage whenever you activate any of the hives. And also, as you saw, splicers constantly stream in, and they stream in every single wave. And you can never totally finish them off. So as I said, I would go through, figure out where they are, and then load, and then try to do it in just 1 or 2 runs, rather than this took quite a few. I don't know why I even bothered with this machine. Because I have an obsessive compulsion to hack everything that I see. And as you can also hear, it's speeding up a little thicker. One more, and I'll have them all. There's a safe that I noticed near the end that has 3 of them in there. The shotgun was quite effective for this. You can also use the grenade launcher, you can use the chemical thrower. I do like just casually blowing them open with the shotgun, though. Very satisfying. It's a very satisfying weapon. Just gonna use an auto hack here. And we're done. And here you can watch me miss repeatedly, which is unfortunate. Actually trying to jump to avoid being shot. And then a double tap to finish him off, which was overkill, I believe. And because I'm greedy, I of course have to retrieve the last remaining crap that was lying around. We have our bee spit. We can move on. Next up is distilled water.